A backlog of fixtures, does it?
It doesn't, well, I don't think we do any more than we've done. I mean, we set off from Leeds at 3 o'clock today and we've not stopped. We sent some of the hotels to pick our butties up, but then other than that we've just been on the road, as I say. And at one stage I thought it was going to be 11 o'clock at night when we got here, but luckily as we got on the M62 we started making a bit of inroads then, but up till then we was doing maybe 4 miles an hour. It took us 2 hours to get to the before we even got near the M62.
You've been on a great roll. Now, as you say, you've got players on international duty. You've got one going to the World Sevens. Are you at all concerned that the other side of that, you might lose a bit of steam?
No, I mean, I think if you're going to win the league, I mean, we'd have to play tonight, we'd have to play and get the result. I mean, if you're going to win the league and going to keep pressure on Wigan, you've got to go for everything you can get. So I had a few out tonight. I mean, for one, Gary Mercer didn't make the coach. Ellery's injured, Iro's injured. But then they wouldn't have been, you know, Mercer had been here for Sunday, but Henry and Hiro wouldn't. So at the end of the day, I'd have took them on. But then, you know, you can't play on a surface that is dangerous to play.
This does strengthen the argument for summer rugby, doesn't it?
Well, I think, like, you know, we might have a bit, the way the reading I keep doing, we might have a bit of winter and a bit of summer coming, you know. I just wonder where we're going to get all the players from to play all the year round. But whatever. I mean, I just love my game. If it's played summer, I'd still play it. I mean, our summers are probably as good as like the Aussie winters, you know. So it could be, you could have summer if you wanted, but I just go along, not with the flow, but I have my own opinion. But at the end of the day, other people make decisions and you just get on with it.
But do you think if you'd played on a night like this, it really does make a mockery, doesn't it?
Well, I'd hate to think had we played and somebody like slips and, you know, doesn't pick a ball, which you normally would do in reasonable conditions, that like you get beat and then it puts your league title. You know, we can't afford to lose one to keep the pressure on Wigan. It's as simple as that. We all know that. Wigan know it too.
Well, I hope you have a safe journey home and it doesn't take 3 hours.
We're thinking of stopping for an hour, just let the traffic go. I mean, I think it will get better going back because it's starting to thaw a bit, I think. Let's hope so.
You hope.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Doug.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Doug Lawton's still able to smile about it. He's got a very difficult journey home tonight, but if you're just tuning in and waiting for the build-up for Salford against Leeds, the bad news, I'm afraid, is that the game is off, and as Doug Lawton was saying there on the interview, no other alternative really for referee Russell Smith. The condition just far too treacherous underfoot, and it would have been awful to have a very nasty injury. Or, at the other end of the scale, a mistake that could swing a championship one way or the other. Well, if you're disappointed, imagine what Paul Cullen must be feeling, because Steve-O, of course, is in hospital, and Paul was ready to make his debut on the big league tonight. Paul, I'm afraid the snow has come and the rain, and we'll have to wait until Sunday at Hull.
Quite. The only decision, Eddie, the most important factor in the game plan tonight would have been the weather, and that's not good for rugby league. Quite right, Dougie Lawton has mentioned that because we've played in worse conditions in the past, that's not a reason to do it in the future, and people would have been slipping and sliding tonight, and that could have won the game. That is not the way to win the championship.
Well, absolutely not. I mean, we have been here a few times in the past, as our viewers will no doubt remember, and you could have put ducks out there and they would have been at home. It's not really the water that is the problem, it's the snow and it's the ice underneath.
Quite treacherous. If anyone was contemplating a game plan tonight, it simply goes out of the window. It's 5 drives and kick, full stop, and anything is a lottery after that. So the only decision was made.
Great shame, of course, that we lose Salford against Leeds here, but I'm sure that Paul tonight will be heading back to his home in Warrington and getting the prayer mat out, because you've got a very important final tomorrow that could be in similar circumstances to this on that pitch at Huddersfield.
Certainly the pitch at Huddersfield is superb, and our only concern is for the approach to the Kirklees Stadium, and it's a game that Warrington are extremely well geared up for. We've prepared well for this after our disaster at Headingley last Sunday, so we're looking forward to this match. Hopefully that the weather holds.
Well, I'm sure you are. I mean, what on earth went wrong with you last week at Headingley? Because we saw you, of course, on Sky at Leeds, and 30 points to nil really does say its own story, but there was obviously something wrong. Were you all concentrating on tomorrow?
The final never honestly entered the mind. It simply was a game too far. 3 games in the space of 7 days, a semi-final of the Cup, a tough game midweek against Castleford, 25-24, end-to-end thriller, and it simply sapped too much. The hamstrings were exploding after 10-15 minutes of the match. A full-strength Leeds side, playing very well at the top of the form, and, well, 30 points-ish difference, and it could have been a lot more, couldn't it?
It could indeed, but you'll be hoping that all that's out of your system now and you're ready for tomorrow. You're up for it.
Well, the cup final comes and we've now got players fighting for position, and we didn't have them last Sunday. Alan Bateman raring to go, Francis Maloney raring to go, Gary Tees also back in the frame, so hopefully we've got the right bodies on the park at the right time.
You'll see there the Leeds players just making their way across. Maybe they're going to have a a small sherbet, a glass of lemonade and maybe a sandwich before they get back on the coach and head off to Headingley once again. If you're tuning in all the time, as I'm sure you are, you're watching Gary Schofield disappear into the Willows clubhouse here. The match between Salford and Leeds is off because of that. The snow came at lunchtime. It was like a blizzard in this part of the world. Then we had the heavy rain. The pitch just really couldn't take it. And that is what the referee had a look at just about 10 minutes, quarter of an hour ago. And the match at Salford is off. It's a great shame for us, a great shame for you. A great shame also, as we say, for Paul Cullen. But we're going to be here until 8 o'clock. Then we'll bring you another showing of Boots and All. And we'll have a little bit of action for you too as we build up towards 8 o'clock. In fact, let's put that to rights straight away, shall we? And look back to the match that was played in midweek on a very heavy pitch, it must be said, on Tuesday at Doncaster. But it was the night that Wigan went back to the top of the championship table. Here are the highlights for you now.
Wigan regained the lead in the race for the Stones Bidder Championship with a bruising win at Doncaster. The strength of Twiggamala creating Jason Robinson's first try. It was a gamble to play 4 days before the Regal final, but it paid off. Frano Bottica's run left 3 men trailing before he released Mick Cassidy, who drew the defender before slipping a perfect pass to Dennis Betts, who scored. Doncaster stuck to their guns though, and when Barry Eaton weaved his way to the line, he was halted only by a desperate lunge from Paul Aitchison. Eaton got his reward though with a penalty try, and Alex Green converted. Next came Robinson's second try, almost a carbon copy of his first, and it owed much again to the Twiggamala strength. Wigan ahead 26 at half-time. A change of jerseys, but no alteration to the script in the second half. A quick restart from Martin Hall, who linked with Barry McDermott. Craig Murdoch found Bottica, and stretching Doncaster out wide, Aitchison made up for his first half lunge on Eaton to increase the Wigan lead. Last word though to Doncaster, and Tony Zelli, following up his own kick through, he got the benefit of the doubt that he touched down first. The champions though, back on top.
Yeah, the champions back on top, and one very interested viewer then was Paul Cullen watching that match. Of course, Paul and Warrington up against Wigan in the Regal Trophy final at Huddersfield tomorrow, weather permitting. That game, by the way, is still on at this stage. Well, let's hope that the weather relents a bit, and that will be a very, very good match indeed. But this is the conditions that we've got here. Snow followed by heavy rain, the pitch flooded, waterlogged. No chance really, and the man who took the difficult decision of calling the game off after Salford doing so much to try and get the game on is the match referee Russell Smith. He's talking now with Bill.
Russell, the ground staff here had really pulled out all the stops. What was it in the end that tipped the balance?
Well, I've every sympathy for the ground staff, obviously, but as you can see, we've got a massive amount of surface water out there, and we've got heavy rain at the moment, and we've got thawing snow as well, so with a combination of things, and it does seem quite sensible that the conditions are just going to deteriorate. Even at the moment, we're not in a playable situation, and that's certainly not going to improve.
Doug Lawton was muttering about lodging an official complaint, and he wasn't happy about the condition of the pitch while you were inspecting. Was there any pressure put on you?
Not at all. I have seen Doug, but not to speak to since I came here. I made my own personal decision. I've actually been on the field, covered all the areas, and it's just a personal decision, and that's the way it's got to be.
You must feel as though you're fated with Sky matches, don't you? There was that one at Bradford because of fog. You had a close call here last season, again Bradford, and now tonight.
That's right, I've had a certain amount of bad luck, but it's more important really for the spectators and the viewers. They're the real disappointed people. Obviously the players and myself would have, if it would have been possible, would have liked to have played tonight, but it's just not realistic, and the conditions could even be termed as dangerous for the players as well.
You're really caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, the deep blue sea being the operative expression here.
Well, we're getting to those depths, aren't we, unfortunately? I mean, I was over the boat tops when I was striding in certain areas of the field, and as you can see now, it's almost becoming probably 50-60% of the area where we've got probably in excess of an inch of water.
But how many things do you have to weigh in your mind? Because you've got the fact that people have travelled and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, we've had a treacherous journey that's taken 3.5 hours, and I believe the Leeds club have had a similar journey, obviously coming across the 62. There are many things to consider, but at the end of the day, you've got to look at the basic conditions of the field, and it's just not conducive to a rugby league match. We've got player safety, All things are considered before we make a decision. It's not done hastily. But as I say, we've got to be realistic. And at the moment, we've just not got a ground that is suitable for rugby league in any way, shape or form.
Russell, thanks very much for talking to us. Safe journey home.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Well, Russell Smith knows what he's talking about because he is a former player, of course, and he knows what conditions like this really do mean. Dreadful. It's the middle of winter, and that is the shot from our very high camera in the sky, and there he is. God bless him. He needs a medal on a night like this. Young Peter, and he's in the snow and the rain and the clouds. And look at the state of the night here at Salford. No chance that we could have had a match here. It's almost raining in the studio as well, I can tell you. It's a pretty damp night in Salford, it really is. The match between Salford and Leeds is off. Great shame, great pity. And as I say, Paul Cullen is as disappointed as anybody because he was about to make his debut as the new good-looking Steve-O. He's sitting at hospital now watching this, and he's all tucked up nice and warm in bed. In a bit of pain, it must be said, but he's probably in the best possible place, isn't he?
Well, apart from the pain, he's in the place to be. This is a horrendous night, and just to reiterate, the only decision was made. There could be no other decision tonight. Player safety has to be at the foremost of everybody's mind, and certainly an ex-player like the referee, and he has made the right decision tonight. We just do not want the championship going on a spill ball or a missed tackle because of the conditions. If Leeds are to challenge Wigan all the way, hopefully they will do it on a fair wicket.
Well, as this evening progresses up to 8 o'clock, and then we'll bring you boots and all from last Tuesday, so fans of Steve-O will be able to see the man himself. We will be looking at Leeds against Wigan. We'll have some highlights of that epic match for you just before Christmas, and we'll also take a look at the week in the big league and discussing some of the prominent issues that have thrown themselves up over the past 7 days. But unfortunately, no live rugby league on the big league tonight. Salford against Leeds, match called off. Every picture tells a story. You can see the reason why. But don't go away. We'll be back at the Willows shortly.
You're watching Sky Sports.
Contribution that the former All Black may make today.